Using some light coloured paint now and a fine brush, just paint the feathers in all the way back. Look carefully at the direction that they lay. As you do this, your picture will start to come to life. Don't cover every single part of this with white paint. You don't want to lose all of the underpainting. And as you paint and overlay these little marks, it softens the whole thing together. Some ultramarine blue mixed as a light glaze just on its own, I feel will just add back in the colour that we now lack with the white, but it needs to be transparent so that all our feather detail we've just applied isn't obliterated. And again, being a glaze, this can be applied softly and just brought round and faded out as the head again hits the sunlight. The dark markings on the head of the kestrel were also lost when we applied the white. So again, they need restating. And this one, the front one, the main one in fact, is formed underneath the eye here and comes down the side of the face like a tear mark, and then peters out before it gets to the bottom here, but it does come up quite strongly towards the bill. And the same shading is also apparent at the back of the eye, where it appears and drops down again towards the back feathers. I'm going to strengthen the glazing tone just a little to increase the shadow effect just in this area here. Again, just squeeze out the brush and just blend that in softly around here. And I'm going to use this blue, just the ultramarine on its own, just to glaze over the bill. And finally some strong darks with ultramarine and burnt umber, just in round the bill and eye. One final point on this bill, the tip of a bird of prey needs to be very finely pointed. It adds a lot to its appearance and character. So a very fine brush and an extremely fine point on the tip of the bill will give the bird a lot of character. And finally, with all these glazes, you glaze over the light again, so you need to reinstate the light every now and again just to build up this strength. Bit by bit you will build up the light, but it won't be done in one go. But don't worry, just keep applying the white, and eventually you'll get to a stage which looks convincing. Okay, I'm just going to put one final little bit of shade using some burnt sienna on this yellow here, just to tone that down. And just tone down the yellow on the shadow side of the nostril and just in there. And that makes that pop out a little more. One final little bit of highlight, I think, and we can call the head done, is just to take some titanium white and just put that little bit of light in there, just strengthen that light. These final little bits of detail do help to bring the painting to life. And that completes the head. I will now work down the rest of the bird towards the tail using the same detailing and glazing technique. That completes the detail for the bird. We need to come forward a little bit with some of the background elements, notably the branch it's sitting on, just to give it a feeling of a little more realism. We can do this using the same technique, using white to determine the shape, and then we'll simply put a glaze on it just to give it some tone and colour. Try and build up a suggestion of some bark very quickly on this, just to indicate a little bit of texture. While that's drying, I'm going to develop just this little area here with some darks so that I can bring out a blade or two of grass over the background. So there we have it. The painting is now complete. And it's important, I think, to see that a wildlife painting needs to be a painting and not simply an illustration. I hope I've been able to show you in this painting that a relatively complex subject and composition is quite achievable. Just break everything down into small, simple, easy steps. By using acrylics, you can easily correct your mistakes and make additions to your painting at any time. So take your time, make constant use of your reference material, but above all, enjoy your painting. Painting wildlife is tremendously satisfying.